I just got home from the 2014 Ducati Monster 1200S press intro in Tenerife, which is in the Canary Islands just off the coast of Morocco. We spent a day there riding the new Monster, and man, it's a really, really great bike. It's much better than the previous 1100 version. They've basically taken it to a whole new level. Just like most of their flagship machines, they have the standard model and S model. The S model in this one, it's got the usual changes you would expect from a Ducati S model. Öhlins suspension, front and rear, carbon fiber bits, got machined wheels rather than the cast wheels, more horsepower. The stock one puts out 135 horsepower, S model, 145 horsepower, and you get 5 more foot-pounds of torque. And that's the one that we got to ride out on the roads of Tenerife. The course that we rode was a mixture of in-town riding, uphills, downhills, really bad pavement, really good pavement, tight turns, wide open sections. Had just about everything you'd need to see what it would be like living with the Monster 1200S. And overall, it performed impeccably. Just a little background on the new 1200. It's got the Testostrada motor in it. Gone is the air-cooled 2-valve motor. Now you've got the modern Superbike motor. It's basically based off the one off the Multistrada 1200. It's got a little more compression, but instead of having 56mm throttle bodies, it's got 53mm throttle bodies for a lot more low-end grunt rather than top-end power. The engine itself, it's really torquey, it's really fun. You can lug it all the way down to it seemed like 2,000 RPM, twist the throttle, and it would just pull itself out of that hole. And it didn't have a real chuggy feeling like the old 1100 had. It's a lot smoother, but it still has that V-twin torque. It just yanks out of the corners. And then once you hit like 5,000, 5,500 RPM up until right around before 8,000 RPM, man, it's got beans. The front tire gets light, and it really pours on the torque and the power. But once you get past that spot, it really tapers off quick, and there's not much left on the top end until you get to the red line at like 10,500 RPM. So you just short shift it, you torque it around, but at the same time, you've got that extra over rev that you used to not have in the old bike. The S model that we rode, it's got Brembo monoblocks, of course, with ABS. The whole system works excellent. The pavement wasn't the greatest in some of the places we rode, and we got into the ABS quite often, and it's a really good system. Felt like in control the whole time, and there was never any strange, weird feedback or jerkiness. It just still slowed you down, which was great. The rear brake, it's not as good as the front. Let's just say that. It's a little mushy feeling, a lot of pedal movement before you really get into the power of it. I wish it was as taut as the front was. Overall, it's a larger bike. It's longer than the outgoing Monster 1100. They wanted to make it more comfortable. That was one of the big things, was making it more comfortable, not only for the rider, but for the passenger. So they added a new seat to it. It's nice and thick, it's padded, and for the first time, it's actually adjustable up and down. They really increased the comfort on this bike. They've moved the handlebars up and back to give you a little bit more of an upright seating position than the old Monster, but it still doesn't feel like you're sitting upright. It still feels monstrous, it still feels a little kicked forward, and it's really comfortable. The seat, loads better than the old model. It's super comfortable. We rode all day, and never even a hint of being uncomfortable. So that right there is a big thumbs up. The dash is new for this model. It's basically the TFT display that you get on the Panigale. Nice, full color. You got 3 screens when you change riding modes, and it's actually kind of neat. Overall, it's the best Monster yet, there's no doubt about it. Yes, it doesn't have an air-cooled motor anymore. Yes, it's more complicated, and that might put off some of the real hardcore Monster fans because the Monster's always been simple and the everyman's Ducati. But even so, it's that much better that it's totally forgivable, and it is the best monster they've made to date.